felt inspired to do a late night session tonight after a beautiful conversation with my neighbor. And the recurring theme in this conversation was about being good or being nice, out of choice or by default. We were speaking about narcissists and empaths and the relationship dynamics that exist between those two types. We often find a relationship between a narcissist and an empath. Maybe you recognize yourself in one of the two in one of your relationships, or you know of some people that you qualify as such. So in my conversation with my neighbor, he was speaking about one of his previous friends as being a narcissist and how he would manipulate his relationships and manipulate his way out of getting validation, and that empaths or good people always find themselves entangled with a narcissist and get manipulated by them, and that empaths always get taken advantage of, and it's only the good people that are on the receiving end of bad things. So in this discussion, I was feeling that we were starting to go on the path of saying that the narcissists were the bad people and the super empaths were the good people. And I felt something was off, so I just intervened. And it's when he said, well, at least the empaths are doing something good for the world, or they're not doing something bad. That's it. I think our super empaths are maybe harming the world just as much. Or maybe it would be better to say that they're in an ego trip just as much as the narcissists are. The ego is the problem here. My feeling is that narcissists and empaths are two faces of the same coin. One is the mirror of the other. That's why they always meet themselves. They always meet each other in these relationship dynamics. So both of them are in an ego trip. Both of them are trying to escape what they feel inside. They're trying to escape the pain. They're trying to escape facing themselves because it's too painful. The narcissist escapes themselves by manipulating the other, by getting validation from them in manipulative ways. But the empaths can be just as manipulative because they cannot face what they feel inside. They connect easily with what others feel, and they build their identity on that, on being the one that relates to what others feel and focuses their energy on that instead of looking at themselves. So as you can see, there is two ends of the same polarity there. So to get back to my topic, Is the empath being an empath really because that's his choice? Or is it because that's all he can be? So being good is only real if it's a choice, not by default. There's a powerful quote by Jordan Peterson that says, "A person that doesn't have the capacity to be bad is not really a good person. A good person is someone who has the capacity to be dangerous, but still chooses to be good out of choice. That's what a real good person means." In fact, he says that a good person, in the true definition of the term, has to be a dangerous person that chooses to be good. The conversation also led me to raise a couple of memories of me being confronted to fights when I was young, and me always choosing to escape the fights, choosing to do everything to escape a fight. And I would even say that my personality has been built on the fact of escaping conflict, avoiding conflict at all costs. That led me to be an agreeable person, a yes person. Lately, what I experienced is I started doing jiu-jitsu, and that has been incredible for me, because I started learning how to defend myself, and that changes the whole game mentally. And back to my conversation with my neighbor, it revolved a lot around masculinity. That's a topic that's very present in my life right now, and that I'm surely going to talk about a lot in this podcast. And we linked masculinity to this aggression and to this violence. So that was my neighbor's comment, and we spoke about martial arts. And I mentioned that for me it's not necessarily about acting violence, but most of all about accepting that violence exists. That's a big one, because when you live in a world of avoiding conflict, you're like trying to act like it doesn't exist, and that you're gonna escape it no matter what. And you just like this washed down version of yourself who is all nice and agreeable, but that's not real. Violence does exist, and you should be aware of it, and you should be prepared for it. So, and that's what I like about jiu-jitsu, because it's not necessarily an offense martial art, but it's more of a self-defense type of art, because it teaches you how to respond to situations that you might find yourselves in, be able to control your opponent before having the choice to submit them or go even deeper. But the recommendation is to control them, to be able to negotiate, to ask them to calm down, to call the cops before doing anything damageable to them. But you have the choice to do that. You have the possibility to do that. So by doing that, by controlling them and then negotiating from you being in a position of power and them not being able to move and being compromised, they might have their arm broken if the person above them chooses to do that. then that's what being good really means. It comes from a position of power. It comes from a position of being able to be the opposite, but still choosing to be good. So that's what I had today. Being good is a choice. It's not by default.